Next, question number 11. Here's a 9-sided regular polygon ABCDEFGHJ with center O. ODK and FEK are straight lines. Work out the value of x. So in this case, if I have this particular angle and this particular angle, it's quite straightforward for us to find this, because angles in a triangle add up to 180. So from 180, if I take away this angle and this angle, I'll be left with this. So now my goal is to find these two somehow, right? So one thing that I can straight away think of is, if I find this angle FED, this particular angle, from 180, if I minus this angle from 180, I'm left with this angle. So how do I find each interior angle? All these are interior angles, the ones that I'm drawing. So each interior angle of a regular polygon, there's an equation you should know. Each interior angle would be n minus 2 multiplied by 180 divided by n, and n is a number of sides. So in this case, it's a 9-sided one, therefore I'd have 9 minus 2 times 180 divided by 9, and this gives me an answer of 140 degrees, which means each of these angle, this angle is 140, so is this angle, so is this, likewise even this angle is 140 degrees, right? So by that I can find angle DEK, this small angle here. So if I write in here, angle DEK is equal to 180 minus 140, giving me an answer of 40 degrees, right? I've got that angle sorted, and now all that's left for me is to find angle EDK, this one. How do I find that? Now this entire thing is one interior angle, right? And since this line that goes through this ODK line, it goes to the center, which means this goes exactly through the center of this. That means if this entire thing is 140, what would be the half of it? The half of it would be simply 140 divided by 2. This entire thing is 140, and half of this means this particular angle here, it would be 140 divided by 2. So I'll call it angle ODE. ODE. Let me get rid of this space here. So I have this angle. This is the angle that I'm gonna find. So that angle ODE would be 140 divided by 2, that is 70 degrees. Now I have this angle as 70 degrees. So what would be this angle? EDK. Angle EDK would be, now when I consider the line ODK, if I get rid of these lines as well, when I consider this line ODK, this angle here and this angle, these both should add up to 180, because angles in a straight line add up to 180. So I've already this angle as 70, therefore this angle EDK would be 180 minus 70. EDK would be 180 minus 70, which gives me an answer of 110 degrees. Right, now I have this as 70, and this angle here is 110. This angle is 110, and this angle we figured out it was 40. Now I have this as 110, this as 40. How am I going to find this? From 180 I subtract this. From 180 I subtract this angle and this angle, right? So 180, so x would be 180 minus 110 minus 40. This gives me an answer of 180 minus 110 minus 40, 30. X is 30 degrees. Therefore this angle is 30 degrees. Alright, I hope you understood this. Let's go to the next question. Question number 12. The diagram shows a right angle triangle ABD. I have the length AB as 14, AD, length AD as 8. C is the point on BD such that angle BAC is 38. Work out the length CD. Alright, I am required to find this particular length here, CD. Right, to find CD, what I'm going to do is, first I have been given this length and this length. So I can find this entire angle B. Alright guys, next question. Question number 12. We have been given a right angle triangle with these lengths and angles, and we are supposed to find the length CD. Right. In order to find length CD, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be considering the large triangle as a whole, triangle ABD, since I have the length 14 and 8. So if I draw this out separately in here, I'd have a triangle like this. This is D, I have B, and I have A, right? And AB length is 14, AD length is 8, and this angle here is this entire angle, right? So I'm going to consider the entire large triangle and find this large triangle angle. You'll understand why I do that in a minute. So this is the angle. I'll call this angle X, right? Now I have been given with the adjacent and hypotenuse. So what do I use? Remembering your trigonometric, we have SO, CA and TOA, right? So in this, sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cos is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tan is opposite over adjacent. Now what do I have? I have been given with respect to this angle, this is my adjacent AD, and 14 is my hypotenuse because that's opposite to the 90 degree, right? So I am having adjacent and hypotenuse, therefore I'll be using cos. So cos of X is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. So cos X equals, what's my adjacent? 8 over 14, and in this case X would be cos inverse of 8 over 14, right? And when I put this in my calculator, how do you put cos inverse? In order to put cos inverse, you have to click shift and cos, and then you put 8 over 14 in your cal, and this gives me an answer of 55.15. X is 55.15 degrees, right? And what I just found is this entire angle. So if this entire angle is 55.15, what would be the small angle? It would be 55.15 minus 38. So if I do that in here, what is that angle called? The small angle is angle CAD. So angle CAD would be 55.15 minus 38, and this gives me an answer of minus 38. This gives me an answer of 17.15. 17.15, right? This is this particular angle. Now using that angle, now I'll be drawing out the small triangle here, ACD. Now I hope you understood why I found the entire angle at first. So now I'm drawing the smaller triangle here, that is below, right? This below triangle ACD. ACD, and I'm required to find this length CD. AD was 8, and this small angle CAD we figured out it was 17.15. Sorry guys, this is in degrees. This would be in degrees. This is an angle which we figured out. So in here we have 17.15 degrees, and this is what I need to find. I'll call it Y. So now what do I have with respect to this angle? I have opposite and I have adjacent. Opposite, adjacent. Which one do we use? Opposite and adjacent. I'll be using tan. So in this case, what's my angle? Tan 17.15 is equal to opposite, which is y, that's opposite to the angle, divided by adjacent, which is 8. Now how do I find y? I would simply multiply these two out, and that would give me an answer of y equals 8 multiplied by tan 17.15, and this should be put within brackets in your calculator. This gives me an answer of 8 times tan, that 2.47. If I round to two decimal places or 3 significant figures, it gives me 2.47 centimeters. 2.47. Right? Hope you understood this question. Let's move into the next question. Right. Noreen has two fair 6-sided dice. Dice A, now we are considering dice A, has 2 red faces and 4 yellow. It's a total of 6. So out of the 6, red ones are 2. That's why they have put 2 over 6. And the yellow we have 4 out of 6. So I would simply fill this as 4 out of 6. Right? One way to check is these two should add up to 1. So in your cal, if you put this and this, if you add those two, it should become 1. Alright. In dice B, we have 1 red face and 5 yellow. Out of the 6, only 1 is red. So I'll be putting 1 over 6. And how many yellow? I have 5 over 6. Same thing in these two branches. 1 over 6 and 5 over 6. 1 over 6 and 5 over 6. Hope you understood that. Easy 2 marks. Work out the probability that both dice land on yellow. Right? One thing that you have to remember in probability is that O, the word O means plus, and means multiply. Now how do I apply this principle into this question? Right? Now here they are asking that both dice land on yellow. I need dice A to land on yellow, and I also need dice B to land on yellow. So how do I say that in words? Do I say dice A landing in yellow or dice B landing in yellow, or else do I say it like this? Do I say it as dice A landing on yellow and also dice B landing on yellow? I have to say and, right? So what I would say is probability of dice A yellow and, I'll be using and B on yellow, right? So and means multiply. So dice, the probability of it landing on yellow in A it would be 4 over 6. So my answer would be, I'd have 4 over 6, which is this probability of landing in yellow, and probability of B. And means I put multiply probability of B on yellow is 5 over 6, as you can see here. So what I did was I took this branch here, I went this way, this and this, 4 over 6 multiplied by 5 over 6, 4 over 6 multiplied by 5 over 6, and when you put this in the calculator, you get 20 over 36, and this can be further simplified to give you, this gives an answer of 5 over 9. And there you go. Easy 4 marks for this probability question. Right, next question. PQ, R and S are points on a circle with center O. Okay, I have the center O. ROP is a diameter. ROP is a diameter. Angle RPQ is 22. Find the size of angle RQP. What is RQP? RQP. That is this angle. Now, when you consider, if I take another color pen, if you consider this section here, if you consider this triangle, this particular triangle, the one I'm drawing, right? This is a triangle in a semicircle, because this is in only one half of the circle and it touches the circumference at Q here. So whenever that happens, this angle RQP is always 90, right? So my answer here would be, I'd say, I'll get rid of this. I have to say that the angle here is 90, and the reason is 90 degrees, and the reason would be angle at a semicircle. Now this is an angle at a semicircle, so angle at a semicircle is always 90 degrees. Angle at a semicircle angle at a semicircle would equate to 90 degrees. These are your circle theorems, guys. Alright, hope you understood that. Find the size of angle PSQ. Where do we have PSQ? That is referring to this. Now in this case, I have both these segments, this angle 22 and this 22 part, they are touching this circumference, right? And these ones would be equal. This would be equal to that. So since my this angle is 22, this angle would also be 22. So this reason for this is angles in the same segment are equal. Okay, angles in the same segment are equal. Angles in the same segment are equal. Are equal. Right, guys, question number 15. Simplify fully 32a to the power 15, the entire thing to the power 3 or 5. Very good question. Now whenever you come across questions like this, you would have to raise each term in the bracket to the power. That means I have to raise 32 to the power 3 over 5, and now I have a to the power 15. That also has to be raised to this power 3 over 5. Each term, if you had 3 terms inside the bracket, you would do it to 3 terms. Now in here, 32 to the power 3 over 5, 32 to the power, you just put it in the cal. 3 over 5 gives me an answer of 8. So this answer here is 8. 8 multiplied by here, it would be a to the power 15. I would have to I'll multiply this power by this. That's what you would do. And when multiplying this, I can cancel, cross cancel. 5 times 1 is 5 and 5 times 3, which is 3. So 3 multiplied by 3, it gives me 9. So it would be 8 times a to the power 9. So therefore my answer is 8a to the power 9. Hope you understood it. Alright, express 1 over 10x entire into the power minus 3. Whenever you get anything to the power minus number, what you have to do is you have to flip it. So you have to flip the denominator and numerator, or else find the reciprocal. So 1 over 10x reciprocal is 10x comes up and 1 comes down, and then you can make the power positive, right? You would apply this to any question in this format, and then you follow the same thing as we did for part A. 10x each thing to the power 3, 10 to the power 3 times x to the power 3 over, even the denominator you have to raise to the power 3. Now in this case 1 to the power 3 doesn't make any difference, but you are supposed to do that. Now here I have 1000 x cube over 1. So this would just be 1000 x cube. So what is my p? As they have asked in the question, p is the one in front of x, which is 1000. P is 1000 and n is 3. N is the power. P equals 1000, n equals 3. There you go. Solve this equation. Right. So I have this minus equals this 4 5 minus this. So I'll first simplify this part on the right. So on the left I have 1 minus 2y over 3 equals, now on the right hand side I'll get a common denominator. I have 5 and 2, therefore my common denominator would be 5 times 2, which is 10. And then I'd have to cross multiply 4 times 2 and this one times 5. So I'd have 4 times 2 minus 5 times 2y minus 1. This was cross multiplication. So 1 minus 2y over 3. If I simplify this, I have 8 minus 5 times 2y is minus 10y, and minus 5 times minus 1, minus times minus is positive, therefore it would give me an answer of plus 5. This would be divided by 10, right? So 1 minus 2y over 3 equals 8 plus 5. 8 plus 5 gives me an answer of 13. So I would have 13 minus 10y over 10. Now all I have to do is cross multiply this, just cross multiplication. So I'd have 10 times 1 minus 2y equals 3 times 13 minus 10y, and then expand the bracket. 10 minus 20y equals 3 times 13 is 39. 39 minus 30y. Bring all the y terms to one side and number terms to the other side. So I'll bring this y term here and this 10 number term to this side. So that would give me, I'd have minus 20y. Minus 30 when it comes to this side, it would be plus 30y equals 39. I'm taking 10 to the other side, it becomes minus 10. This would be 10y equals 39 minus 10 is 29. Therefore, if I bring it up here, y would be 29 divided by 10. This gives me an answer of y equals 2.9.